Judge, the state would call Detective Ben Rector, please.
Witness sworn.
Will you state your name, please?
Ben Rector, and it's RCTR.
And how are you employed?
Detective for the Indiana State Police.
And how long have you been employed with the Indiana State Police?
I graduated the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy on March 4th of 2011.
And are you familiar with the case of State of Indiana versus Richard Allen?
I am.
And you became involved in the investigation into the leak of photos, is that correct?
That's correct.
Tell me how you became involved.
I was asked somewhere around October 6th I believe, give or take maybe, but I was asked to locate Brandon Woodhouse.
Okay. And did you locate Brandon Woodhouse?
I did.
And did you have a conversation with him?
I did.
What did you do after that?
I had a conversation with Mr. Woodhouse and then, afterwards, I was asked to complete an interview with Mr. Rozzi and Mr. Baldwin.
And did you conduct those interviews?
I did. Those were completed on October 12th.
And you were able to meet with Mr. Rozzi and ask him questions about the leaked photos, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And you were also able to do the same with Mr. Baldwin?
Yes, that's correct.
When you interviewed Mr. Rozzi, did he represent to you who the members of their investigative team are?
He did. He gave me several individuals that were kind of involved on their team, yes.
Were any of those individuals Mitch Westerman?
No.
Were any of those individuals Mr. Fortson?
No.
Did Mr. Rozzi ever mention that Mr. Westerman was working with them as a consultant?
He did not.
Did he mention his name at all throughout the interview?
I believe we discussed him and I believe he said that I don't think he'd ever met Mr. Westerman to the best of his knowledge.
Okay. And did you discuss the discovery in this case with Mr. Rozzi?
We did.
And do you know where they would usually keep the discovery for this case?
Yeah, so we broke down the flow of discovery from your office through their hands, and ultimately, I believe Mr. Rozzi's secretary would pick it up and then it would, ultimately, go to Andy Baldwin's office.
And did you ask him about the photos that were leaked to the public?
I did, yes.
Did he have any explanation of how those were leaked?
The only knowledge he had was what Mr. Baldwin had told him relating to it.
Okay. And did you then interview Mr. Baldwin?
I did.
And did Mr. Baldwin know Mr. Westerman?
He did, yes.
Tell me about that.
So he was a former employee of Mr. Baldwin's office and he had known him for several years.
And did Mr. Baldwin explain to you how the leaked photos got out to the public?
Yes. He outlined how he believed that had happened.
And tell me his explanation.
So Mr. Baldwin told me that on the afternoon of October 9th I believe, he received a text message from me Westerman, indicated that he needed to speak with him. He stated that he had some plans that evening, however, he stayed at the office and, at some point in time, Mitch Westerman showed up at his office and informed him that he had taken pictures of these pictures.
Did Mr. Baldwin mention that Mr. Westerman was on their team?
He did not, no.
Did Mr. Baldwin mention that he had used Mr. Westerman as a consultant?
He did say that he discussed strategy related to Delphi with him, related to the Delphi case.
Did Mr. Baldwin say that he released any documents to Mr. Westerman?
He told me throughout the interview that I believe 1 to 2 days prior to the Frank's motion being published with the court that he had provided that document to or Mr. Westerman had shown up at his office and viewed the Frank's motion 2 days, 1 to 2 days prior to it being published, and I think that date was September 18th.
Did Mr. Baldwin show you any kind of non-disclosure agreement that he?
No, he did not.
Did Mr. Baldwin show you any text or e-mail or anything confirming that he had a non-disclosure agreement with Mr. Westerman?
No.
Did you discuss Mr. Woodhouse with Mr. Baldwin?
We did, yes.
And what did he tell you about Mr. Woodhouse?
He informed me that he had inadvertently sent Mr. Woodhouse I believe what it was called was a thumb drive map outlining some evidence or related to a hard drive that he was given.
Did he explain to you why he had Mr. Woodhouse's e-mail in the first place?
Yes. He had consulted with Mr. Woodhouse I believe somewhere around December of 22 and discussing some things related to some knowledge that he may have.
Of the Delphi case?
Or something intertwined with it potentially.
When you had a conversation with Mr. Baldwin, did he inform you that he'd also given the Franks memorandum to another civilian individual?
He did, yes.
And who was that, if you recall?
I don't recall the name, but it was a CASA worker I believe in Franklin County, but I don't recall the name.
Did he show you any kind of non-disclosure agreement or any?
No, sir.
After your interviews with Mr. Baldwin and Mr. Rozzi, what did you do next?
Directly after that, I sought a search warrant to search Mitch Westerman's residence.
And did you get a search warrant?
We did.
And was his residence searched?
It was.
And did you gather electronic devices from that residence?
Yes, we did.
Did you gather Mr. Westerman's cell phone?
We did.
And were you able to download the contents from that cell phone?
We were not, no.
Are you attempting to now?
Yes, I believe so.
Tell me about that.
So when we got the device, it was locked and secured, and the device has been taken to our high-tech crime unit or our crime unit and I believe it's still on a gray key, attempting to break into the passcode.
If you had that passcode, would you be able to examine the cell phone?
We would.
And the fact that it's on the gray key, do you have any idea how long it'll?
Originally, I was told somewhere around 2 years, but it all depends, and it's out of our control.
From the electronic devices that you've collected from Mr. Westerman's house, were you able to determine if Mr. Westerman had an iCloud account or not?
We were.
And what did you do with that information?
So we were able to determine that he did have an iCloud account and that was determined, we were able to access that information by a computer that was located in his garage and we were able to determine Mitch Westerman's iCloud account information.
Once you found out that he had an iCloud account, what did you do to gather the information from that account?
I sought and was granted a search warrant for iCloud, and we ultimately gave that search warrant to iCloud, or to Apple.
And did you get back information from Apple?
We did.
And that information you got back from Apple, tell me what that information was, just give me a ball, what did you get back from Apple?
So from Apple, it's we have no picking and choosing of what we get, but I obtained I believe somewhere around 500 gigabytes worth of data which Apple provided to us and it was data which was backed up from Mitch Westerman's devices in some way, shape, or form.
And you were able to determine from the information you gathered that?
Correct. There were personal photographs and family pictures from the Westerman family, so we believed it was, yes.
So not to be elementary, but to make sure I understand, when you say backed up, meaning that information came from his devices?
That's correct.
Okay. Was the iCloud account registered to Mitch Westerman?
It was, yes.
I want to back up, strike that. I'm gonna show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 10, can you identify that exhibit?
Yes, I can.
Can you tell me what that exhibit is?
So these are screenshots which were located on this iCloud account. These are screenshots of conversations between an individual named Andy and they were stored within the iCloud.
When you say screenshots, what is a screenshot? Explain that to me.
Kind of a hard process to explain, but it's a process where you're taking a picture essentially of whatever conversation, or whatever's happening on your device, you're taking a picture, a snapshot, of that information.
And you have to save it?
Correct.
And then it's uploaded to your account?
Correct.
Have you instigated crime? Well, let me back up. Those represent.
That is correct.
And they represent screenshots of messages found in Mitch Westerman's account?
That is correct.
Judge, the state would move to admit what's been marked as State's Exhibit 10 into evidence. State's Exhibit 10 offered.
Any objection?
Preliminary question.
Is there any objection? He's moved the admission of 10.
Correct, and I asked for a preliminary question.
Yes, you may ask.
Are there any dates on any of these pages of State's Exhibit 10?
Not on.
On any of them?
To the best of my knowledge, I don't believe there are, no.
Say that again, please.
I do not believe there are, to the best of my knowledge.
And then, so do you know when Westerman allegedly took photos without permission in Mr. Baldwin's office?
And I'm gonna have to go back to the previous question you just asked, because there is at least one date on these. There are also timestamps on some.
I see the timestamps. I don't see any dates on any of them.
Well, sir, one of the pages does have a date stamp on it.
What?
One of these pages does have a date stamp on it.
Which one, since they're not numbered? May I approach the witness?
You may.
Several of these do have a timestamp, and this one here does have a date and a timestamp.
Okay. When you say this one here, it says Monday, September 18th, at midnight?
That's correct.
So what year?
I do not know.
And then, you say there's another one with a date stamp?
No, sir. I believe there's others with timestamps.
Right, right.
But they do not have date stamps.
But, so we don't know when any of these were sent back and forth between Mr. Baldwin and Mr. Westerman?
The date stamp is not on them.
What did you say?
The date stamp is not on them.
What question did you hear?
Can you ask the question again, sir?
Well, which one did you hear? I said, so we don't know what date any of this exchange between Mr. Baldwin and Mr. Westerman was? I didn't ask what time.
Correct.
So there, we don't know what day. And you've admitted that they were discussing discovery, what could be done/should be done on the case.
I don't know that I admitted to that.
No, you haven't yet.
So I guess.
How is this a preliminary question, sir?
What did you say, ma'am?
How is this a preliminary question when you're asking him things you would be asking him on cross-examination?
Well, actually, I was trying to establish that it's work product, because that's gonna be our objection, so the question to him there, on a preliminary basis, was, does the content, the discussion of strategy, discovery, and matters that are protected by work product? And furthermore, what is it relevant to, since we don't have any idea what year it was done or what date it was done, so what is it relevant to? To show that Mr. Westerman.
So your objection is relevance?
What did you say?
Your objection then is relevance to the admission of this exhibit.
Work product and relevance, yes. What?
Judge, in regards to relevance, I believe it is relevant. I'm just entering it as an exhibit now, but once we get into the contents, it will show. The contents show the time frame of when these conversations were held. It's relevant to show that Baldwin was leaking information to Westerman intentionally, purposefully, and that Westerman was not a member of his team, has not signed an NDA, to the state's knowledge. They don't discuss strategy. I don't think it's protected by work product. Of course, when he makes that claim, the burden shifts to him to prove that it is work product. I don't think it falls within the exception of work product. It's not attorney-client privilege. It's not anything discussing strategy of the case. It's discussing Baldwin is telling Westerman information that's not out in the public and is telling him about files and documents that they're going to file before they're filed in the public. And so it's relevant to show an ongoing leak to Westerman.
I'll show 10 is admitted over objection. State's Exhibit 10 admitted.
Judge, would you seal that so that, 1, it shouldn't come in because Mr. McClelland had no business reading the mental impressions of opposing counsel, and 2, since it does have the mental impressions of defense counsel, it should not be made public, so we ask that it be sealed.
I'll seal it.
I have no objection to that, Judge. And I guess to follow that up, I will ask a few more questions of Mr. Rector or Detective Rector, but I'm willing to not go into the contents of the messages, just with the understanding would ask the court to please review those messages because I do believe they're important to the contemptuous information. And so if defense counsel's okay with the court reading those, instead of me reading them into the record, I'm satisfied with them being sealed, Judge.
Okay.
So, Mr. Rector, I want to direct your attention to State's Exhibit 10. I'm gonna stand up here so the microphone catches me. There's a gray or light blue part of the conversation and then a dark blue part of the conversation. Can you explain that to the court, which is outgoing and which is an incoming message?
Yes, absolutely. So the blue messages would be the outbound messages. The gray in color messages would be the inbound messages that were received to whatever user.
And the name at the top of those messages is, whose name is there?
Andy.
And again, these are messages that came from Mr. Westerman's iCloud account?
That is correct.
Are these screenshots that you took with your phone?
Absolutely not.
So would these be akin to photos that were saved in Mr. Westerman's iCloud account?
Presumably, yes.
Photos that were taken from one of Mr. Westerman's devices?
Correct.
Presumably that he took, Mr. Westerman?
That's correct.
And so you had no part in capturing these photos, you just received the photos from the account and printed them out?
Absolutely. This is how they were presented to me and I did nothing to alter them.
You had an opportunity to read through the messages in those screenshots?
I did, yes.
And do those messages give you an idea of the time frame when the messages were sent?
They do. There are specific things that are cited in these messages that give us a proximity of the time in which they would have been sent or received.
So while there's no date stamp that states a specific day when they were sent, the messages give you context of when they were sent?
Yes. When you read the content, that would give you some more knowledge into that.
I want to go back in time a little bit. You also executed a search warrant on the Facebook account of Mr. Fortson, is that correct?
That is correct.
And you had an opportunity to examine the messages between Mr. Fortson and Mr. Cohen that were retrieved from individuals, correct?
They're ones that would have been retrieved and presented to me by First Sergeant Holman.
Okay. You had an opportunity to go through those messages?
I did, yes.
The messages we've admitted into evidence today?
Yes, that's correct.
When you examined Mr. Fortson's Facebook account, were those messages in his account?
I did not see them, no.
Do you have any explanation of why they weren't there? Objection, relevance, speculation.
How's it relevant?
I'll withdraw the question, Judge. I don't have any other questions.
Mr. Hennessy.
Let's start where, towards the end, he kept asking about photos in State's Exhibit 10. I don't see any photographs. Are there?
Well, sir, what he's referring to as a photograph would be the screenshots, which appear in photos when you save them that way.
Okay. So they're screenshots that came from iCloud?
Correct, yes.
But there's no photographs in State Exhibit 10 that were being passed back and forth between Westerman and Baldwin?
These are screenshot messages, sir.
So there's no photographs in the documents between Westerman and Baldwin?
No, sir.
Thank you. So how long did your interview with Andy Baldwin take?
I believe it was approximately 2 hours.
And was he cooperative?
He was.
Didn't try to cut you off?
He did not, no.
Answered every question?
He did.
Openly and honestly?
He answered every question, yes.
Did you ask him if he'd ever had any direct contact with Fortson?
I do not believe I asked him that question, no.
Did he describe how Mr. Westerman had no authority to take pictures of anything related to the Delphi case?
He described that he did not have the authority to take pictures in the conference room, yes.
So your answer to my question was yes?
Yes.
Okay. Did you find out the date that Mr. Westerman confessed to Mr. Baldwin?
What we were told was October 9th when, as in my testimony previously.
And you know that that was reported then to the prosecution and the court on October 9th?
I believe it was, somewhere thereabouts. I'm not exactly privy to all that information, no.
And then, you interviewed Brandon Woodhouse?
I did.
And from that, did you learn that Mr. Baldwin, within an hour of having mistakenly sent an email to Mr. Woodson, called Mr. Woodson and told him to delete it?
It's Mr. Woodhouse, sir, but yes, he.
Woodhouse, yeah. Woodson? Who's Woodson? Did you investigate the connection between Mr. Westerman and Mr. Fortson?
I know that there was a connection from information received.
Sir, if you could just focus on my question. Did you investigate any relationship between Westerman and Fortson? That's a yes or no.
I would have, yes.
You would have?
Yes.
Do you remember what you did in that regard?
I remember some context from phones that put a correlation between the two, but beyond that, I don't know what their relationship was.
Were you aware of a leak of the affidavit for probable cause to search Mr. Logan's property that had stamped on it for every page, murder sheet?
Objection. Judge. Relevance. Same argument I've made in the past, Judge, concerning the hearing today.
That's not part of the contempt, sir, the allegations that have been.
WL, it can be if you allow the defense, even though you wouldn't give them time to adequately prepare, you wouldn't extend the discovery deadline.
Sir.
If you just let him add.
I don't need a talking objection.
I'm sorry.
I sustained the objection. Thank you.
Well, no, I need to respond for the record to the court's comment that it's not part of the contempt proceedings, because
it is not.
It is part of the defense in the contempt proceedings. Thank you.
Any further questions?
Did you investigate any other leaks?
I was given information by Brad Rozzi at the time of my interview with him about some information that was on a segment by Barbara McDonald.
Did you investigate any others?
Beyond that, no.
And then, so you had access and reviewed the actual email that went to Mr. Woodhouse?
Yes, that was provided to me, yes.
It was addressed to Brad, correct?
That is correct, yes.
And Mr. Woodhouse is Brandon.
That is correct.
So it clearly wasn't intended for Mr. Brandon Woodhouse?
I don't think I can speak for what the intent was, I just know that's how it was addressed.
Well, Sergeant Holman does, why can't you?
Because I speak to the facts, I don't know.
Okay. Oh, and you reviewed the thumb drive map that was attached to the misdirected email?
Yes, sir.
And that didn't identify what discovery is where on the disk, on that map, on that thumb drive?
I guess you'd have to be more specific. I don't understand the question, sir.
That's all right, it's in evidence. Nothing further at this time.
Mr. McClelland?
No, Judge, no other questions. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, officer. You may step down.